Novak Djokovic. Abstract. Novak Djokovic, born the 22nd of May 1987, is a Serbian professional tennis player who is currently ranked world No. 1 in men's singles tennis by the Association of Tennis Professionals, ATP. Djokovic has won 17 Grand Slam singles titles, the third most in history for a male player, 5 ATP Finals titles, 34 ATP Tour Masters 1000 titles, 14 ATP Tour 500 titles, and has held the No. 1 spot in the ATP rankings for over 280 weeks. In majors, he has won a record 8 Australian Open titles, 5 Wimbledon titles, 3 US Open titles, and 1 French Open title. By winning the 2016 French Open, he became the 8th player in history to achieve the career Grand Slam and the 3rd man to hold all 4 major titles at once, the first since Rod Laver in 1969 and the first ever to do so on 3 different surfaces. He is the only male player to have won all 9 of the Masters 1000 tournaments. Djokovic was also a member of Serbia's winning Davis Cup team in 2010 and in the 2020 ATP Cup. Djokovic is the first Serbian player to be ranked No. 1 by the ATP and the first male player representing Serbia to win a Grand Slam singles title. He is a 6-time ITF World Champion and a 5-time ATP year-end No. 1 ranked player. Djokovic has won numerous awards, including the Laureus World Sports Award for Sportsman of the Year 4 times, and the 2011 BBC Overseas Sports Personality of the Year Award. He is also a recipient of the Order of St. Sava, the Order of Kara's Star, and the Order of the Republika Srpska. Early and personal life. Novak Djokovic, NOL, was born on the 22nd of May 1987 in Belgrade, Senior Serbia, Yugoslavia, to parents Sran and Dejana. He is of paternal Serbian and maternal Croatian descent. His 2 younger brothers, Marko and George, have also played professional tennis. A resident of Monte Carlo, Djokovic was coached by former Slovak tennis player Marin Vida from 2006 until Boris Becker took over the role of head coach in December 2013. Djokovic is a self-described fan of languages, speaking Serbian, English, French, German, and Italian. He met his future wife, Jelena Risti, in high school, and began dating her in 2005. The two became engaged in September 2013, and on the 10th of July 2014 the couple got married on Sveti Stefan in Montenegro, while a church wedding was held in the same place, on the 12th of July 2014, in the Church of St. Stephen, which belongs to Prskvica Monastery. On the 24th of April 2014, Djokovic announced that he and Risti were expecting their first child. Their son, Stefan, was born on the 21st of October 2014 in Nice, France. Their daughter, Tara, was born on the 2nd of September 2017. Djokovic began playing tennis at the age of 4. In the summer of 1993, the 6-year-old was spotted by Yugoslav tennis player Jelena Geni at Mount Kopaonik, where Djokovic's parents ran a fast food parlor. Upon seeing the child Djokovic playing tennis, she stated, "This is the greatest talent I have seen since Monica Seles." Geni worked with young Djokovic over the following 6 years before realizing that, due to his rapid development, going abroad in search of increased level of competition was the best option for his future. To that end, she contacted Nikola Pili, and in September 1999 the 12-year-old moved to the Pili Tennis Academy in Oberschleißheim, Germany, spending 4 years there. At the age of 14, he began his international career, winning European championships in singles, doubles, and team competition. Djokovic is a member of the Champions for Peace Club, a group of famous elite athletes committed to serving peace in the world through sport. Created by Peace and Sport, a Monaco-based international organization, Djokovic is a member of the Serbian Orthodox Church. On 28 April 2011, Patriarch Irenij of Serbia awarded Djokovic the Order of St. Sava class, the highest decoration of the Serbian Orthodox Church, for his contributions to monasteries of the Serbian Orthodox Church in Kosovo and Metohija and charitable work in Serbia. He is a keen fan of Serbian football club Red Star Belgrade, Italian club AC Milan and Portuguese club SL Benfica. He is good friends with fellow Serbian tennis player Ana Ivanovic, whom he has known since the two were children growing up in Serbia, through Djokovic's uncle and Ivanovic's father. Djokovic has been reported to meditate for up to an hour a day at the Buddhist Buddhapadipa temple in Wimbledon, and is close to monks in the complex. He has spoken of the positive power of meditation. Tennis career. As a member of the Yugoslav national team, Djokovic reached the final of the 2001 Junior Davis Cup for players under 14, in which he lost his match in singles. In juniors, Djokovic compiled a singles win-loss record of 4,011, reaching a combined junior world ranking of No. 24 in February 2004. At the Junior Grand Slam tournaments, his best showing was at the Australian Open, where he reached the semi-finals in 2004. He also played at the French Open and US Open junior events in 2003. Djokovic turned professional in 2003 by entering the ATP World Tour. At the beginning of his professional career, he mainly played in Futures and Challenger tournaments, winning 3 of each type from 2003 to 2005. His first tour-level tournament was Umag in 2004, where he lost to Filippo Volandri in the round of 32. Djokovic made his first Grand Slam tournament appearance by qualifying for the 2005 Australian Open, where he was defeated by eventual champion Marat Safin in the first round in straight sets, after defeating future rival Stanislas Wawrinka in qualifying. He went on to reach the third round of both Wimbledon and the US Open, coming back from 2 sets down to defeat Guillermo Garca Lpez in the former, and beating Gal Monfils and Mario Ani in the latter. Djokovic participated in 4 Masters events and qualified for 2 of them, his best performance coming in Paris, where he reached the third round and defeated 4th seed Mariano Puerta along the way. Djokovic reached the top 40 in the world singles rankings after making his first quarter-final appearance at a Grand Slam event, coming at the French Open, and also by reaching the 4th round at Wimbledon that year. 3 weeks after Wimbledon, Djokovic won his first ATP title at the Dutch Open in Amersfoort without losing a set, defeating Nicolas Mas in the final. He won his second career title at the Moselle Open in Metz, and moved into the top 20. Djokovic also reached his first career Masters quarterfinal at Madrid during the indoor hardcourt season. On 9 April 2006, Djokovic clinched a decisive Davis Cup win against Great Britain by defeating Greg Rusedski in 4 sets in the 4th match of the tie, giving Serbia and Montenegro an insurmountable 31 lead in their best-of-5 series, thus keeping the country in the Group 1 Euro-African zone of Davis Cup. Afterwards, Djokovic briefly considered moving from Serbia to play for Great Britain. Following this match-up, the British media spoke of Djokovic as camp negotiating with the Lawn Tennis Association about changing his international loyalty by joining British tennis ranks. The 19-year-old Djokovic, who was ranked 63rd in the world at the time, mostly dismissed the story at first by saying that the talks were not serious, describing them as the British being very kind to us after the Davis Cup. However, more than 3 years later, in October 2009, Djokovic confirmed that the talks between his family and the LTA throughout April and May 2006 were indeed serious. Britain was offering me a lot of opportunities and they needed someone because Andy was the only one, and still is. That had to be a disappointment for all the money they invest, but I didn't need the money as much as I had done. I had begun to make some for myself, enough to afford to travel with a coach. And I said, why the heck? I am Serbian. I am proud of being a Serbian. I didn't want to spoil that just because another country had better conditions. If I had played for Great Britain, of course I would have played exactly as I do for my country, but deep inside, I would never have felt that I belonged. I was the one who took the decision. Djokovic began 2007 by defeating Australian Chris Guccone in the final of a tournament in Adelaide, before losing in the fourth round of the Australian Open to eventual champion Roger Federer in straight sets. His performances at the Masters Series events in Indian Wells and Key Biscayne, where he was the runner-up and champion respectively, pushed him into the world's top 10. Djokovic lost the Indian Wells final to Rafael Nadal, but defeated Nadal in Key Biscayne in the quarterfinals before defeating Guillermo Cas for the title in the finals. After winning his first Master Series title, Djokovic returned to Serbia to help his country enter the Davis Cup World Group in a match against Georgia. Djokovic won a point by defeating Georgia's George Chanchuria. Later, he played in the Monte Carlo Masters, where he was defeated by David Ferrer in the third round, and at the Estoril Open, where he defeated Richard Gasquet in the final. Djokovic then reached the quarterfinals of both the Internazionale d'Italia in Rome, where he lost to Nadal, and the Hamburg Masters, where he was defeated by Carlos Moy. At the French Open, Djokovic reached his first major semi-final, losing to eventual champion Nadal. At Wimbledon, Djokovic won a 5-hour quarter-final against Marcos Baghdatis. In his semi-final match against Nadal, he retired with elbow problems in the third set, after winning the first and losing the second set. Djokovic's next tournament was the Rogers Cup in Montreal, and he defeated No. 3 Andy Roddick in the quarterfinals, No. 2 Nadal in the semi-finals, and No. 1 Federer in the final. This was the first time a player had defeated the top 3 ranked players in one tournament since Boris Becker in 1994. Djokovic was also only the second player, after Tom Burdick, to have defeated both Federer and Nadal since they became the top 2 players in the world. After this tournament, Bjorn Borg stated that Djokovic is definitely a contender to win a Grand Slam tournament. The following week at the Cincinnati Masters, Djokovic lost in the second round to Moy in straight sets. Nevertheless, he went on to reach the final of the US Open, where he had 5 set points in the first set and 2 in the second set, but lost them all before losing the match in straight sets to the top-seeded Federer. Djokovic won his 5th title of the year, the BACA Tennis Trophy in Vienna, defeating Stanislas Wawrinka in the final. His next tournament was the Madrid Masters, where he lost to David Nalbandian in the semi-finals. Djokovic, assured of finishing the year ranked No. 3, qualified for the year-ending Tennis Masters Cup, but did not advance beyond the round-robin matches. He received the Golden Badger Award for the best athlete in Serbia, and the Olympic Committee of Serbia declared him the best athlete in the country. Djokovic played a key role in the 2007 playoff win over Australia by winning all his matches and helping promote the Serbia Davis Cup team to the 2008 World Group. In Serbia's tie against Russia in Moscow in early 2008, Djokovic was sidelined due to influenza and missed his first singles match. He returned to win his doubles match, teaming with Nenad Zimonji, before retiring during his singles match with Nikolai Davydenko. Djokovic started the year by playing the Hopman Cup with fellow Serbian world No. 3 Jelena Jankovic, while he won all his round-robin matches. The team lost 12 in the final to the second-seeded American team of Serena Williams and Mardy Fish. At the Australian Open, Djokovic reached his second consecutive Grand Slam final without dropping a set, including a victory over two-time defending champion Federer in the semi-finals. By reaching the semi-finals, Djokovic became the youngest player to have reached the semi-finals in all 4 Grand Slam events. In the final, Djokovic defeated unseeded Frenchman Jo-Wilfried Tsonga in 4 sets to earn his first Grand Slam singles title. This marked the first time since the 2005 Australian Open that a Grand Slam singles title was not won by Federer or Nadal. Djokovic's next tournament was the Dubai Tennis Championships, where he lost in the semi-finals to Roddick. At the Pacific Life Masters in Indian Wells, Djokovic won his 9th career singles title, defeating Mardy Fish in the final. Djokovic won his 10th career singles title and 4th Master Series singles crown at their Internazionale d'Italia in Rome after defeating Wawrinka in the final. The following week at the Hamburg Masters, he lost to Nadal in the semi-finals. At the French Open, Djokovic was the third-seeded player behind Federer and Nadal. He lost to Nadal in the semi-finals in straight sets. On grass, Djokovic once again played Nadal, this time in the Artois Championships final in Queen's Club, where he lost in 2 sets. Djokovic entered Wimbledon seeded third but lost in the second round to Safin, ending a streak of 5 consecutive majors where he had reached at least the semi-finals. Djokovic then failed to defend his 2007 singles title at the Rogers Cup in Toronto. He was eliminated in the quarterfinals by 8th-seeded Andy Murray. The following week at the Cincinnati Masters, Djokovic advanced to the final, beating Nadal in the semi-finals and thereby ending the Spaniard's 32-match winning streak. In the final, he again lost to Murray in straight sets. His next tournament was the 2008 Summer Olympics, his first Olympics. He and Gennady Monchi, seeded second in men's doubles, were eliminated in the first round by the Czech pairing of Martin Dam and Pavel Wiesner. Seeded third in singles, Djokovic lost in the semi-finals to Nadal. Djokovic then defeated James Blake, the loser of the other semi-final, in the bronze medal match. After the Olympics, Djokovic entered the US Open seeded third, where he defeated Roddick in the quarterfinals. To a smattering of boos in a post-match interview, Djokovic criticized Roddick for accusing him of making excessive use of the trainer during matches. His run at the US Open ended in the semi-finals when he lost to Federer in 4 sets. In a rematch of the previous year's final, Djokovic went on to play 4 tournaments after the US Open. At the Thailand Open, he lost to Tsonga in straight sets. In November, Djokovic was the second seed at the year-ending Tennis Masters Cup in Shanghai. In his first round-robin match, he defeated Argentine Juan Martín del Potro in straight sets. He then beat Nikolai Davydenko in 3 sets, before losing his final round-robin match against Tsonga. Djokovic qualified for the semi-finals, where he defeated Gilles Simon. In the final, Djokovic defeated Davydenko to win his first Tennis Masters Cup title. Djokovic started the year at the Brisbane International, where he was upset by Ernest Skulbus in the first round. At the Sydney International, he lost to Jarkko Nieminen in the semi-finals. As defending champion at the Australian Open, Djokovic retired from his quarter-final match with former world No. 1 Andy Roddick, after losing in the semi-finals of the Open 13 tournament in Marseille to Tsonga. Djokovic won the singles title at the Dubai Tennis Championships, defeating Ferrer to claim his 12th career title. The following week, Djokovic was the defending champion at the BNP Paribas Open in Indian Wells, but lost to Roddick in the quarter-finals. At the Sony Ericsson Open in Key Biscayne, Djokovic beat Federer in the semi-finals, before losing to Murray in the final. Djokovic reached the final of the next ATP World Tour Masters 1000 event, the Monte Carlo Rolex Masters on clay, losing to Nadal in the final. At the Internazionale BNL d'Italia in Rome, Djokovic failed to defend the title he had won the previous year, losing in the final. Djokovic was the top seed at his hometown tournament, the Serbia Open in Belgrade. He defeated first-time finalist UKAS Kubut to win his second title of the year. As third seed at the Madrid Open, Djokovic advanced to the semi-finals without dropping a set. There, he faced Nadal and lost despite holding 3 match points. The match, at 4 hours and 3 minutes, was the longest three-set singles match on the ATP World Tour in the Open era. At the French Open, he lost in the third round to German Philipp Kohlschreiber. Djokovic began his grass-court season at the Jerry Weber Open where, after the withdrawal of Federer, he competed as the top seed. He advanced to the final, where he lost to German Tommy Haas. Djokovic then lost to Haas in the quarterfinals of Wimbledon. During the US Open Series, Djokovic made the quarterfinals of the Rogers Cup in Montreal before losing to Roddick. At the Cincinnati Masters, Djokovic defeated third-ranked Nadal in the semi-finals before losing in the final to No. 1 Federer. At the US Open, Djokovic made the semi-finals, having dropped only 2 sets, defeating Ivan Lubin, 15th seed Radek Tepnek and 10th seed Fernando Verdasco before being defeated by Federer. At the China Open in Beijing, Djokovic defeated Victor Nescu, Victor Troitsky, Verdasco, and Robin Estling en route to the final, where he defeated Marinelli in straight sets to win his third title of the year. Djokovic then lost in the semi-finals of the inaugural Shanghai ATP Masters 1000 to Davydenko. At the Swiss indoors in Basel, Djokovic defeated Jan Hernik to make it to the quarterfinals, where he recovered from a deficit to defeat Wawrinka before going on to win his semi-final against Tepnek. In the final, he defeated home favorite and 3-time defending champion Federer to win his 4th title of the year. At the last Masters 1000 event of the year at the BNP Paribas Masters in Paris, Djokovic won his first Masters 1000 title of the year by defeating Nadal in the semi-finals, before outlasting Gael Monfils in the final, coming into the year-ending ATP World Tour Finals in London as the defending champion. Djokovic defeated Davydenko in his first round-robin match before losing his second match to Estling. Despite victory over Nadal in his third round-robin match, Djokovic failed to make the semi-finals. Djokovic ended the year as the No. 3 for the third consecutive year, having played 97 matches, the most of any player on the ATP World Tour, with a 7,819 win-loss record. In addition to leading the ATP World Tour in match wins, he reached a career-best 10 finals, winning 5 titles. Djokovic also played a large role in promoting Serbia to the 2009 World Group. On 68 March 2010, he played a key role in bringing Serbia to the World Group quarterfinals for the first time in its independent history, winning both singles matches in the home tie against the United States against Sam Querrey and John Isner. Djokovic started his year by playing in the Amy Classic, an exhibition event. In his first match, he defeated Haas before losing to Fernando Verdasco in his second. At the 2010 Australian Open, Djokovic lost a 5-setter to Tsonga in the quarterfinals. Despite the loss, he attained a career-high ranking of No. 2 and went on to reach the semi-finals of the ABN AMRO World Tennis Tournament in Rotterdam, where he lost to Eugenie. At the Dubai Tennis Championships, Djokovic reached the final, this time defeating Eugenie to win his first title of the year. Djokovic then took part in Serbia's Davis Cup tie against the United States on clay in Belgrade and helped his country reach its first quarterfinal in the Davis Cup with a 32 victory, defeating Querrey and Isner. At the Indian Wells Masters, Djokovic lost in the 4th round to Lubin. At the Miami Masters, he lost in his opening match to Olivier Rochus. Djokovic then announced that he had ceased working with Todd Martin as his coach. In his first clay court tournament of the year, the Monte Carlo Rolex Masters, top-seeded Djokovic reached the semi-finals with wins over Wawrinka and David Nalbandian before losing to Verdasco. Djokovic again lost to Verdasco at the Internazionale BNL d'Italia in Rome, this time in the quarterfinals. As the defending champion at his hometown event, the Serbia Open in Belgrade, he withdrew in the quarterfinals while trailing Filip Krajinovic. Djokovic entered the French Open seeded third. He defeated Evgeny Korolev, Kei Nishikori, Victor Nescu, and Robbie Ginepri en route to the quarterfinals, where he lost to Jugan Meltzer in 5 sets. Djokovic entered Wimbledon as the 3rd seed, defeating Rockers, Taylor Dent, Albert Montes, Leighton Hewitt, and Yen Sun Liu en route to the semi-finals, which he lost to Tom Burdick in straight sets. Djokovic then competed at the Rogers Cup in Toronto, where he lost to Federer in the semi-finals. Djokovic also competed in doubles with Nadal in a one-time, high-profile partnership. This had not happened since 1976, when Jimmy Connors and Arthur Ashe's No. 1 and No. 2 paired together as a doubles team. This year they lost in the first round to Canadians Milos Raonic and Vasek Pospisil. Djokovic then lost to Roddick in the quarterfinals of the Cincinnati Masters. As the 3rd seed at the US Open, Djokovic came very close to losing in his opening round against Viktor Troicki in extreme heat. He then defeated Philip Petchner, James Blake, Mardy Fish, and No. 17 seed Gal Monfils, all in straight sets, to reach the US Open semi-finals for the 4th consecutive year. There, he defeated Federer in 5 sets after saving 2 match points with forehand winners while serving, to stay in the match at 45 in the 5th set. It was Djokovic's first victory over Federer at the US Open in 4 attempts, and his first victory over Federer in a major since the 2008 Australian Open. Djokovic went on to lose to Nadal in the final, a match that saw Nadal complete his career Grand Slam this year, after helping Serbia defeat the Czech Republic 32 to make it to the Davis Cup final. Djokovic competed at the China Open as the top seed and defending champion. He won the title for the 2nd successive year, after defeating Mao Xingong, Mardy Fish, walkover, Gilles Simon, and John Isner en route to the final. Djokovic then defeated Ferrer in the final. At the Shanghai Masters, Djokovic made a semi-final appearance, losing to Federer. Djokovic played his final tournament of the year at the ATP World Tour Finals in London. Djokovic was placed in Group A along with Nadal, Burdick, and Roddick. Djokovic won his first round-robin match against Burdick. He next lost to Nadal. He defeated Roddick in his final round-robin match and advanced to the semi-finals, where he lost to Federer in 2 sets. Djokovic went on to win his 2 singles rubbers in Serbia's Davis Cup Finals victory over France. This started a long unbeaten run that went on into 2011. Djokovic finished the year ranked No. 3. His 4th successive finish at this position. He was awarded the title Serbian Sportsman of the Year by the Olympic Committee of Serbia and Serbian Athlete of the Year by DSL Sport. Serbia progressed to the Davis Cup final. Following the victories over Croatia and the Czech Republic, Serbia came from 12 down to defeat France in the final tie 32 in Belgrade to win the nation's first Davis Cup championship. In the final, Djokovic scored 2 singles points for Serbia, defeating Gilles Simon and Gal Monfils. He was the backbone of the Serbian squad, going 70 in singles rubbers to lead the nation to the title. Although the honor of winning the deciding rubber in the final went to compatriot Viktor Troicki, Djokovic won 10 tournaments in 2011, including Grand Slam tournament victories at the Australian Open, Wimbledon and the US Open. Djokovic also captured a record-breaking 5 ATP World Tour Masters 1000 titles, and set a new record for the most prize money won in a single season on the ATP World Tour. $12 million. His level dropped at season's end, beginning with a back injury and ended with a poor showing at their ATP World Tour Finals. Djokovic finished the season with a 706 record and a year-end ranking of No. 1. Pete Sampras declared Djokovic's 2011 season as the best he has ever seen in his lifetime, calling it one of the best achievements in all of sports. Boris Becker called Djokovic's season one of the very best years in tennis of all time, adding that it may not be the best statistically, but he's beaten Federer, he's beaten Nadal, he's beaten everybody that came around to challenge him in the biggest tournaments in the world. Rafael Nadal, who lost to Djokovic in 6 finals on 3 different surfaces, described Djokovic's performances as probably the highest level of tennis that I ever saw. Djokovic was named 2011 ITF World Champion. He also received the Golden Bagel Award by winning 13 sets with the result of 60 during the season. In the semi-finals of the 2011 Davis Cup, Djokovic played a crucial rubber match for Serbia against Juan Martín del Potro of Argentina, where he retired while trailing, after re-aggravating a back injury sustained during the US Open tournament. This secured Argentina's place in the final. This marked Djokovic's 3rd loss of his 2011 season, and his 2nd retirement. Djokovic began his season by winning the 2012 Australian Open. He won his first 4 rounds against Paolo Lorenzi, Santiago Giraldo, Nicolas Mahut and Leighton Hewitt, respectively. In the quarter-finals he defeated David Ferrer in 3 sets. In the semi-final, Djokovic beat Murray in 5 sets after 4 hours and 50 minutes, coming back from a 2-1 deficit and fending off break points at 5-all in the 5th set. In the final, Djokovic beat Nadal in 5 sets, coming from a breakdown in the final set to win 75 at 5 hours and 53 minutes. The match was the longest final in Open-era Grand Slam history, as well as the longest match in Australian Open history, surpassing the 5-hour and 14-minute 2009 semi-final between Nadal and Fernando Verdasco. Djokovic was beaten by John Isner in the semi-finals at Indian Wells. He successfully defended his title in Miami. In the Monte Carlo final, he lost in straight sets to Nadal, unable to prevent Nadal from earning his record-breaking 8th consecutive title there. Djokovic also lost in straight sets to Nadal at the Rome Masters 2012 final. Djokovic reached his maiden French Open final in 2012 by defeating Federer, reaching the finals of all 4 majors consecutively. Djokovic had the chance to become the first man since Rod Laver in 1969 to hold all 4 major titles at once, having won last year's Wimbledon and US Open titles as well as this year's Australian Open, but was beaten by Nadal in the final in 4 sets. Following the French Open, Djokovic was unsuccessful in defending his Wimbledon title from the prior year, losing to Roger Federer in 4 sets in the semi-finals. At the 2012 Summer Olympics in London, Djokovic was chosen as the flag bearer for Serbia. On the 2nd of August 2012, Djokovic defeated French 5th seed Tsonga and advanced to the semi-finals of Olympics, where he was beaten by Murray in straight sets. In the bronze medal match he lost to Del Potro, finishing 4th. He successively defended his Rogers Cup title, dropping just a single set to Tommy Haas. Following the Rogers Cup, Djokovic would make the finals of the Cincinnati Masters but lost to Roger Federer in straight sets. At the US Open on the 9th of September, Djokovic reached his 3rd consecutive final at Flushing Meadows by beating 4th-seeded David Ferrer in a match suspended a day earlier due to rain. He then lost the final to Murray in 5 sets. Djokovic went on to defend his China Open title, defeating Tsonga in straight sets. The following week he won the Shanghai Masters by defeating Murray in the final. With Federer's withdrawal from the Paris Masters, Djokovic was guaranteed to regain his No. 1 ranking. On the 12th of November 2012, Djokovic won the 2012 ATP World Tour Finals by defeating Federer in the final. Because of his achievements in the 2012 season, Djokovic was named the 2012 ITF World Champion in men's singles by the International Tennis Federation. Djokovic began the 2013 season by defeating Murray in the final of the 2013 Australian Open to win a record 3rd consecutive Australian Open trophy and the 6th major of his career. A week later, he participated in a Davis Cup match against Belgium, where he defeated Olivier Rochus in straight sets to give the Serbian team a 20 lead. On the 2nd of March 2013, Djokovic won the 36th professional singles title of his career by defeating Tom Berdych in the final of the Dubai Tennis Championships. Another solid week of tennis saw Djokovic reach the semi-finals at the BNP Paribas Open in Indian Wells, before losing to Del Potro, bringing an end to his 22-match winning streak. The following week, Djokovic went into the Miami Masters as defending champion, but lost in the fourth round to Tommy Haas in straight sets. In April, Djokovic played for Serbia as the country faced the United States in the Davis Cup quarter-finals. Djokovic clinched the tie for his team by defeating John Isner and Sam Querrey. Later that month, he defeated eight-time champion Nadal in straight sets in the final of the Monte Carlo Rolex Masters to clinch his first title in Monte Carlo. In May, he was defeated by Grigor Dimitrov in 3 sets in the second round of the Matua Madrid Open in Madrid. The following week, he lost to Berdych at the quarterfinal stage of the Rome Masters. Djokovic began his French Open campaign with a straight 3 sets win over David Goffin in their first round and also defeated Guido Pella in straight sets in the second round. In the third round, Djokovic defeated Dimitrov in 3 sets. In the fourth round he came back from a set down and defeated Philipp Kohlschreiber of Germany in 4 sets, and in the process he had reached a 16th consecutive Grand Slam quarter-final. Djokovic then lost to Nadal in the semi-final in 5 sets. In the finals of the 2013 Wimbledon Championships, Djokovic lost to Murray in straight sets. At the Rogers Cup, he lost to Nadal in the semi-final in 3 sets. Later, Djokovic lost to Isner in the quarter-finals in Cincinnati. Djokovic went on to reach the US Open final, where he met Nadal for the 37th time in his career. He went on to lose in 4 sets. In early October, Djokovic collected his 4th Beijing title by defeating Nadal in the final in straight sets. He also collected his 2nd Shanghai Rolex Masters title, extending his winning streak to 200 over the last 2 seasons at the hard-court Asian swing of the tour. Djokovic won his 16 Masters 1000 title in Paris at the end of the season, beating David Ferrer in the final. At the 2013 ATP World Tour Finals, Djokovic retained the trophy, beating Nadal in straight sets. At the end of the season, Boris Becker joined his staff as head coach. Djokovic began the year with a warm-up tournament win, the 2013 Mubadala World Tennis Championship. At the Australian Open, he won his first 4 matches in straight sets, against Luc Lacko, Leonardo Mayer, Denis Istomin and No. 15 seed Fabio Fognini respectively. He met Wawrinka in the quarterfinals of the tournament, the second consecutive year the two had met at the event. Despite coming back from 2 sets to 1 down, Djokovic fell 97 in the 5th set, ending his 25-match winning streak in Melbourne, as well as his streak of 14 consecutive Grand Slam tournament semi-finals. The week of the 27th of January marked the first time since 2011 that Djokovic has not been a Grand Slam title holder. Djokovic also would play in the Dubai Tennis Championships but lost to eventual champion Roger Federer in the semi-finals. However, Djokovic would avenge his loss to Federer, winning his 3rd Indian Wells Masters title, beating Federer in the final. Continuing his good run, he beat No. 1 Nadal in the final of the Miami Masters in straight sets, suffering from a wrist injury which hampered him throughout the Monte Carlo Masters. Djokovic lost the semi-finals to Federer in straight sets. After returning from injury, Djokovic won his 3rd Rome title by beating Nadal in the final of the Italian Open. He subsequently donated the $500,000 in prize money that he had received to the victims of the 2014 Southeast Europe floods. Djokovic reached the final of the French Open losing only 2 sets in 6 matches, but lost in the final to Nadal in 4 sets. It was Djokovic's first defeat in the last 5 matches between both. At the Wimbledon Championships, Djokovic defeated Roger Federer in the final in 5 sets. With this victory he replaced Rafael Nadal again as the world No. 1. Djokovic played at the Rogers Cup, losing to eventual first-time champion Joe Wilfried Tsonga in straight sets. He followed it with a loss to Tommy Robredo at the Cincinnati Masters. At the US Open, Djokovic reached the semi-finals, where he lost in 4 sets to Ken Nishikori. Djokovic returned to Beijing with a 5th trophy in 6 years, defeating Murray in the semi-final and Berdych in the final. The following week he was beaten by Federer in the semi-final of Shanghai Masters. He then won the Paris-Bercy Masters title, without losing a single set, beating Raonic in the final. In the World Tour Finals, Djokovic created a record by winning 3 round-robin matches with a loss of just 9 games. By reaching the semi-final, he also secured the year-end No. 1 ranking for the 3rd time, tying him with Nadal at 5th position. He was awarded the World Tour Finals trophy after Federer withdrew before the finals. This marked the 7th title of the season for him and the 4th title at the World Tour Finals. Djokovic began the season at the Qatar Open in Doha, where he won his first 2 rounds for the loss of just 6 games. However, lost in the quarterfinals against Ivo Karlovi in 3 tight sets. He rebounded from this defeat while at the Australian Open, where he made it through the first 5 rounds without dropping a set. In the semi-finals he faced defending champion Stan Wawrinka, the man who beat him the previous year. He twice lost a set lead, however came roaring back in the 5th to take it to love, and set up a 3rd final against Andy Murray. After splitting the first 2 sets in tiebreakers, Djokovic suddenly found his form after dropping his serve at the start of the 3rd set, going on to win 12 of the last 13 games to record a 4-set victory over the Scot, and win an Open-era record-breaking 5th title in Melbourne, overtaking Roger Federer and Andre Agassi. He moved into equal 8th on the all-time list of men with the most major titles, tying Agassi, Ivan Lendl, Jimmy Connors, Ken Rosewall and Fred Perry. He next competed at the Dubai Tennis Championships and lost to Roger Federer in the final. After 2 weeks, Djokovic defeated John Isner and Andy Murray en route to his 21st Masters 1000 title, beating Federer in 3 sets in Indian Wells. In Miami, he defeated David Ferrer and John Isner en route to winning his 5th title, defeating Andy Murray in 3 sets. With his 22nd Masters title, Djokovic became the first player to complete the Indian Wells Miami title sweep 3 times. In April, Djokovic clinched his 2nd Monte Carlo Masters by beating Thomas Berdych in the final. Djokovic withdrew from the 2015 Madrid Masters. He won the title for the 4th time at the Rome Masters, making it 4 out of 4 titles in Masters 1000 events entered by Djokovic in 2015. He continued his good form on clay at the French Open, by reaching the final without dropping a set in the first 5 rounds, including a quarter-final clash with Nadal and a 5-set semi-final victory over No. 3 seed Andy Murray, which took 2 days to complete. This meant he became only the 2nd man to have won against Nadal at the French Open. However, he lost the next match in the tournament to No. 8 seed Stan Wawrinka in 4 sets, after having prevailed in the first set and being up a break in the 4th set and up 400 on Wawrinka's serve in a subsequent game. He lost 6 of the final 7 games of the match. With this loss, Djokovic was denied his first victory at the French Open and a personal career Grand Slam this year. 5 weeks later, he rebounded again from a tough loss in Paris, just like 2014, coming from 2 sets down to beat Kevin Anderson in the 4th round, and then going on to claim his 3rd Wimbledon title in his 4th final at the All England Club, with a 4-set win over Roger Federer. Prior to the final Grand Slam event of the year, Djokovic had the chance to become the first man in history to complete the full set of Masters 1000 titles in Cincinnati, and reach the final for the 5th time. However, he was once again beaten by Federer, making it a 5th straight defeat in a Cincinnati final. At the 2015 US Open, Djokovic reached the final for the 6th time in his career, achieving the feat of reaching all 4 Grand Slam finals in a single calendar year. In the final of the tournament, he faced Federer once again. defeating him in 4 sets to win his 3rd Grand Slam title of the year, his 2nd title at Flushing Meadows, and his 10th career Grand Slam singles title, becoming the 5th man in the Open era to win 10 or more Grand Slam singles titles, as well as only the 3rd man to reach all 4 major finals in a calendar year. He returned to Beijing in October, winning the title for the 6th time, defeating Nadal in straight sets in the final to bring his overall record at the tournament to 290. Djokovic then reached the final of the Paris Masters, where he defeated Murray in straight sets, taking his 4th title there and a record 6th ATP Masters 1000 tournament in 1 year. After losing to Federer in the round-robin stage of the 2015 ATP World Tour Finals, he took on their 3rd seed again in the final. He beat Federer in straight sets, winning his 5th World Tour Finals title, and he became the first player to win 4 consecutive end-of-year finals tournaments. Djokovic collected his 60th career title in Doha, defeating Nadal in 2 sets in a final that lasted 73 minutes. He broke his own ATP ranking points record, bringing it up to 16,790. Djokovic then proceeded to win his 6th Australian Open, on his road to his Open-era record 6th title in Melbourne. He defeated Roger Federer in 4 sets in the semi-finals, and in a rematch of the 2015 final, he defeated Andy Murray in 3 straight sets. He quickly rebounded from an eye infection at the Dubai Open to collect a 5th Indian Wells Masters title, defeating Rafael Nadal in the semi-finals, and Milos Raonic in the final. Djokovic's run was so dominant that NOS 2 and 3, Andy Murray and Roger Federer, could have combined their points and still not have had enough to pass Monsieur. On the 3rd of April 2016, Djokovic won the 2016 Miami Open for the 3rd consecutive year, and did so without dropping a set en route to his 6th career Miami Open title, tying him with Andre Agassi for most ever Miami Open men's singles titles. In addition, 2016 marked the 3rd consecutive year that Djokovic swept both Indian Wells and the Miami Open, the first male singles player to ever do that. This was also the 4th time in his career Djokovic won both Miami and Indian Wells back-to-back. His finals win in Miami saw Djokovic surpass Roger Federer to become the all-time leading prize money winner on the ATP Tour with career earnings of $98.2 million. After an early round exit at the Monte Carlo Masters, Djokovic quickly bounced back by winning the Madrid title for the 2nd time in his career with the 3-set victory over Murray. They met again in the Rome Masters final 1 week later with Murray the victor. Despite a sluggish performance, Djokovic defeated Nadal and Nishikori in 2 long quarterfinals and semi-finals. Djokovic defeated Andy Murray in the final of the 2016 French Open in 4 sets, making him the reigning champion of all 4 major tournaments. A historic feat the media dubbed the Nol's Le Monsieur with his French Open triumph. Djokovic became the 8th player in history, and the 2nd oldest, to achieve a career Grand Slam. The 3rd player in history to hold all 4 Grand Slam titles at the same time, and the 1st player to win $100 million in prize money. However, at Wimbledon, his major win streak came to an end in the 3rd round when he lost to American Sam Querrey in 4 sets. It was his earliest exit in a Grand Slam since the 2009 French Open. In late July, Djokovic returned to form by winning his 4th Rogers Cup title, and 30th Masters 1000 title overall, without dropping a set. In August, Novak was beaten in the 1st round of the Olympic men's singles in Rio de Janeiro by Juan Martín del Potro. It was Djokovic's first opening round defeat since January 2009, when Ernest Gulbis defeated him at the 2009 Brisbane International. In the final slam of the year, the US Open, Djokovic advanced to the final but was defeated by Stan Wawrinka in 4 sets. Djokovic was defeated by Roberto Bautista Agut and Marin Cilic in the semi-finals and quarter-finals in Shanghai and Paris. As a result of this, He lost the No. 1 ranking to Andy Murray. However, a runner-up finish at the World Tour Finals indicated his best performances in nearly 3 months. After the season, he parted ways with his coach of 3 years, Boris Becker. In January, Djokovic defended his title in Doha, defeating New World No. 1 Andy Murray in 3 sets. At the 2017 Australian Open, he was upset in the second round by No. 117 Denis Istomin of Uzbekistan. This was the first time since 2007 that Djokovic had failed to reach the quarter-finals at the Australian Open, and the first time ever in his career that he had lost to a player ranked outside of the top 100 in a Grand Slam tournament. In February and March, Djokovic played at the Mexican Open and the Indian Wells Masters, but in both events was eliminated by Nick Kyrgios in the third and fourth rounds, respectively. In April, Djokovic reached the quarter-finals of the Monte Carlo Masters, losing to David Goffin. After the tournament, he decided to split with his longtime coach Marin Vida, fitness specialist Gebhard Filgrich and physiotherapist Miljana Manovi, citing the need to find a winning spark. A better showing at the Madrid Masters saw Djokovic reach the semi-finals, losing to Nadal in straight sets. A runner-up result at the Rome Masters indicated solid improvements in his form this year. On the 21st of May 2017, he announced that Andre Agassi would become his new coach, starting at the 2017 French Open. However, as the defending champion, he lost at Roland Garros in the quarter-finals to Dominic Thiem this year, who prepared for Wimbledon at the Eastbourne International, playing his first non-Wimbledon tournament on grass since the 2010 Aegon Championships. He won the tournament, beating Gal Monfils in the final. This marked his first grass title outside of Wimbledon. He made it to the quarter-finals at Wimbledon before retiring against Thomas Berdych while down a set and a break, due to an elbow injury which he said had been bothering him for a year and a half. On the 26th of July, Djokovic announced that he would miss the 2017 US Open and the rest of the 2017 season to fully recover from his elbow injury. In January he won against Dominic Thiem in straight sets at the Couillon Classic Exhibition tournament. At the 2018 Australian Open, the Serbian won in the second round against Gael Monfils and then in the third round eliminated Albert Ramos Violas in straight sets, before bowing out in close straight sets against Chung Ai-in from South Korea. In late January, he underwent surgery on his elbow. On the 3rd of March, he announced on Twitter he was back on the practice courts, and with a little over 1 week practice, he surprisingly played Indian Wells, losing in the second round to Taro Daniel. He later had another second-round loss in the Miami Open, this time to Benoit Paire, reuniting with Marin Vida at the Monte Carlo Masters. He collected victories over Dusan Lajovic and Borna Coric, followed by a loss to World No. 7 Dominic Thiem this year. In a press conference, he stated, "After 2 years finally I can play without pain." After another early exit, this time in Barcelona to Martin Klazan, Djokovic's gradual return to form would show itself at the Madrid Masters. In his first win over a top 20 player in 10 months, he defeated Monte Carlo Masters runner-up Kei Nishikori in straight sets, but did not progress past the second round, losing to Carl Edmund in 3 sets. Going into the Rome Masters with a 66 season record, he reached the semi-finals, losing to Rafael Nadal in straight sets. He later reached the quarter-finals of the 2018 French Open, where he lost to Marco Cecchinato in 4 sets. He had a strong start to the grass court season at Queen's Club, securing his first win over a top 5 player in almost 18 months after defeating Grigor Dimitrov in the second round. He then defeated Adrian Manarino and Jeremy Chardy without dropping a set to reach the final where, despite having a championship point, he lost to top seed Marin Ili. He also played doubles partnering with longtime friend and rival Wawrinka. Djokovic entered Wimbledon as the number 12 seed. He defeated Tennis Sandgren, Horacio Zeballos, Kyle Edmund, Karen Khachanov, and Ken Nishikori to reach the semi-finals, where he faced longtime rival Rafael Nadal. Djokovic defeated Nadal 108 in the fifth set in a 5-hour, 17-minute match, spread over 2 days. This match became the second longest semi-final in Wimbledon history, second only to the match between Kevin Anderson and John Isner held earlier on the same day. With this win, Djokovic reached his first major final since the 2016 US Open. He claimed his fourth Wimbledon title and 13th major title overall by defeating Anderson in straight sets after 2 hours and 18 minutes, winning the third set in a tiebreak after saving 5 set points throughout the set. With this win, he rose 11 ranking spots and re-entered the top 10 for the first time since October 2017. After a triumphant grass season, Djokovic started his North American hard-court swing with a third-round showing at the Rogers Cup, losing against eventual runner-up Stefanos Tsitsipas in a 2-hour, 16-minute three-setter. Afterwards, he returned to play the Cincinnati Masters for the first time in 3 years. In an event plagued by suspended play due to rain, Djokovic defeated defending champion Grigor Dimitrov in the third round and Milos Raonic in their quarterfinals back-to-back in 3 sets. Djokovic went on to defeat Marin Cilic in the semi-finals in a fourth consecutive 3-set match, setting up his 6th appearance at the finals of the tournament and 4th final against 7-time champion Roger Federer. Although Federer was riding a streak of 100 consecutive hold of serve at the tournament, Djokovic went on to break his serve 3 times and win his first Cincinnati Masters title convincingly in straight sets. With this victory, Djokovic became the first player in tennis history to complete the career Golden Masters, a feat achieved by winning all 9 ATP Masters 1000 events at least once in one's career. Djokovic was the number 6 seed entering the US Open. This was his first appearance at the US Open since the 2016 final. He defeated Martin Fucsovics, Tennis Sandgren, Richard Gasquet, and De Souza to reach the quarterfinals, where he was expected to face Roger Federer. However, Federer was upset by John Millman, who Djokovic then defeated in straight sets. Djokovic thus advanced to his 11th US Open semi-final in as many appearances. He overcame Ken Nishikori in straight sets to reach his 8th US Open final, where he faced number 3 seed Juan Martin Del Potro. He defeated Del Potro in straight sets to win his 3rd US Open title and 2nd Grand Slam title of the year. This win returned him to the top 3 in the world rankings for the first time since the 2017 French Open. Seeded 2nd at the Shanghai Masters, he defeated Jeremy Chardy, 16th seed Marco Cecchinato, 7th seed Kevin Anderson, 4th seed Alexander Zverev, and 13th seed Borna Ori in a decisive run. He did not drop a set nor have his serve broken during the tournament. This was his 4th title in Shanghai and 2nd Masters title of the year. With this win, he overtook Roger Federer and returned to the number 2 ranking for the first time since the 2017 French Open. On the 31st of October, Rafael Nadal announced his withdrawal from the 2018 Paris Masters due to an abdominal injury. As a result, Djokovic reclaimed the world No. 1 ranking. At the Paris Masters, Djokovic was seeded 2nd. He defeated De Souza, Damir Dumha, and 5th seed Marin Ili to reach the semi-finals, where he faced 3rd seed Roger Federer. They fought a tight 3-set match, with Djokovic emerging victorious in the 3rd set tiebreak. In the final, Djokovic was upset by unseeded Karen Khachanov in straight sets. At the ATP Finals, Djokovic was seeded 1st, and drawn in Group Guga-Curtin. With the withdrawal of Rafael Nadal from the event, Djokovic was guaranteed a 5th year-end number 1 ranking. In the round-robin stage, he dominated his opponents, defeating Alexander Zverev, Marin Ili, and John Isner without dropping a set. He advanced to the semi-finals, where he decisively defeated Kevin Anderson in straight sets to reach his 7th final at their tournament, and his 6th in as many appearances, where he faced Alexander Zverev. He was upset by Zverev in straight sets. Nonetheless, his performance at the ATP Finals saw him secure an almost 1,600-point lead over No. 2 ranked Nadal. At the Mubadala World Tennis Championship, he scored victories over Karen Khachanov and Kevin Anderson to win the title. He ended the year with 9,045 points. Djokovic's first tournament of the year was at the Qatar Open. He defeated Damir Dumha, Mistin Fucsovics, and 5th seed Nicolas Basilashvili before being defeated by 7th seed Roberto Bautista Agut in the semi-finals. Djokovic entered the Australian Open as the top seed. He defeated qualifier Mitchell Kruger, 2008 finalist Jo-Wilfried Tsonga, 25th seed Denis Shapovalov, 15th seed Daniil Medvedev, 8th seed Kei Nishikori, and 28th seed Lucas Pouille to reach the final, in which he beat 2nd seed Rafael Nadal in straight sets to win his 15th Grand Slam and a record 7th Australian Open. Djokovic then played at the 2019 Indian Wells Masters and reached the 3rd round where he was upset by Philipp Kohlschreiber in straight sets. This was then followed by a 3-set 4th-round defeat to Roberto Bautista Agut in the 2019 Miami Open. Djokovic then began his clay court season by playing in the 2019 Monte Carlo Masters, losing in the quarterfinals to Daniil Medvedev in 3 sets. During the Madrid Open, Novak Djokovic celebrated the 250 weeks at world number 1 in ATP rankings. He is one of only 5 players to achieve 250 weeks at number 1. After Roger Federer, Pete Sampras, Ivan Lendl and Jimmy Connors. After beating ATP Next Generation player Stefanos Tsitsipas in Madrid Open final, Djokovic lifted the Madrid trophy for the 3rd time and tied Nadal's record of 33 ATP Masters 1000 titles. After heavy rain delays at the Italian Open, he made quick work of Denis Shapovalov and Philipp Kohlschreiber, followed by a 3-hour slugfest victory over longtime rival Juan Martín del Potro. He finished the tournament with the runner-up and being the only player to take a set off a rejuvenated Nadal. He competed in the French Open, reaching the semi-finals without dropping a set and recording wins over Hubert Hurkacz, Henry Laaksonen, Salvatore Caruso, Jan-Lennard Struff, and 5th seed Alexander Zverev. His 4th-round win over Struff made him the first man to reach 10 consecutive quarterfinals at Roland Garros. In the semi-finals, he faced 2018 finalist Dominic Thiem, who defeated Djokovic in a 4-hour, 5-set match that was interrupted by rain multiple times and stretched across 2 days. This ended his 26-match winning streak in major tournaments and brought his search for a second Noel Slam to an end. At Wimbledon, he won his 16th Grand Slam, defending his title to win the tournament for a 5th time by defeating Roger Federer in an epic 5-set final that lasted 4 hours and 57 minutes, the longest in Wimbledon history. Djokovic saved 2 championship points in the 5th set en route to winning the title, and the match also marked the first time a 5th set tiebreak was played in the men's singles of Wimbledon at 12 games all. Djokovic then played at the 2019 Cincinnati Open as the defending champion and reached their semi-final where he lost to eventual champion Daniil Medvedev in 3 sets. At the 2019 US Open, Djokovic was unable to defend his title, falling to Stan Wawrinka in the 4th round, while down 2 sets in a break before retiring due to injury. The defeat prevented Djokovic from winning 3 of the 4 Grand Slam events that year, a feat that he achieved in 2011 and 2015. In October 2019, Djokovic defeated John Millman in straight sets to win the Japan Open. At the Shanghai Masters, Djokovic reached the quarterfinal stage, but lost to Stefanos Tsitsipas in 3 sets. In November 2019, Djokovic reached final of Paris Masters after defeating Grigor Dimitrov in straight sets. In the final, Djokovic claimed his fifth title in Paris Masters after a two-set win over Canadian young star Denis Shapovalov. Djokovic then played in the Bjorn Borg group at the 2019 ATP Finals but was eliminated in the round-robin stage after a straight sets win over Matteo Berrettini, a three-set loss to Dominic Thiem and a straight sets defeat to Federer. At the 2020 ATP Cup, Djokovic helped Serbia win its first title by scoring 6 victories including wins over Medvedev in the semi-final and Nadal in the final. At the 2020 Australian Open, he defeated longtime rival Roger Federer in straight sets en route to the final where he defeated three-time Grand Slam runner-up Dominic Thiem in 5 sets. This is Djokovic's 8th win at the Australian Open, making him the first Open-era male player to win Grand Slam titles in 3 different decades. For his 17th Grand Slam win he received €2.5 million as prize money. Djokovic won the title at Dubai Tennis Championships 5th time, defeating Stefanos Tsitsipas in the final. Rivalries. Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal have met 55 times on the tennis court, an Open-era record for head-to-head meetings between male players. And Djokovic leads 2,926. Djokovic leads on hard courts 207, while Nadal leads on clay 177, and they are tied on grass 22. This rivalry is listed as the third greatest rivalry in the last decade by ATP World Tour Commission. Djokovic is the first player to have at least 10 match wins against Nadal and the only person to defeat Nadal 7 times consecutively, which he did twice. The two share the record for the longest Grand Slam final match ever played, which was the 2012 Australian Open final. In the 2011 Wimbledon final, Djokovic won in 4 sets, which was his first victory over Nadal in a major. By doing so, he became the only person other than Federer to defeat Nadal in a Grand Slam tournament final. Djokovic also defeated Nadal in the 2011 US Open final to capture his third major title of the year, and 4th overall. By beating Nadal, Djokovic became the second player to defeat Nadal in more than one Grand Slam final, the other being Federer, and the first player to beat Nadal in a Slam final on a surface other than grass. In 2012, Djokovic defeated Nadal in the Australian Open final, which made Nadal the first player to lose in 3 consecutive Grand Slam finals. At the 2012 Monte Carlo Rolex Masters in April, Nadal finally beat Djokovic for the first time since November 2010. They had met in 7 finals from January 2011 to January 2012, all of which Djokovic won. Nadal again defeated Djokovic in the final of the Rome Masters tournament. At the 2012 French Open, Djokovic faced Nadal in the final. For the second time in tennis history, 2 tennis players played 4 consecutive Grand Slams finals against each other. They also became the only players in history, except for Venus and Serena Williams, to have faced the same opponent in the finals of each of the 4 different Grand Slam events. Nadal eventually won in 4 sets after multiple rain delays that forced the final to be concluded on the following Monday afternoon. In 2013, Djokovic defeated Nadal in straight sets in the final of the Monte Carlo Masters to clinch his first title in Monte Carlo. This was his 3rd clay win against Nadal. At the 2013 French Open semi-final, Nadal defeated Djokovic to up his record to 2015 against Djokovic, and again at the 2013 Rogers Cup semi-final. On the 9th of September 2013, Djokovic lost to Nadal in the 2013 US Open final in 4 sets. In 2014, Djokovic defeated Nadal in 3 sets at the Rome Masters 1000 tournament to claim his 3rd title there. At the 2014 French Open, they played in the final, with Djokovic again attempting to capture the career Grand Slam. Monsieur Nadal won in 4 sets to capture the French Open for the 9th time. At the 2015 French Open, Djokovic finally defeated 9-time champion and 5-time consecutive defending champion at their French Open, thus ending Nadal's 39-match win streak at this tournament. He became only the second man in history to have defeated Nadal at the tournament, and the first to do so in straight sets. At the 2018 Wimbledon Championships, the two faced each other in the semi-finals. This match became their second longest match and just their third 5-set meeting, stretching for 5 hours and 17 minutes over 2 days. Djokovic broke Nadal in the final game of the fifth set to win 108. After saving 3 break points at 77 which would have allowed Nadal to serve for the match. This was Nadal's first defeat in the semi-finals of a Grand Slam since the 2009 US Open, and his first ever defeat in the semi-finals of Wimbledon. At the 2019 Australian Open, Djokovic defeated Nadal in straight sets in the final. Novak Djokovic and Roger Federer have faced each other 50 times, and Djokovic currently leads 2,723. Djokovic leads on hard courts 2018 as well as grass 31, whereas they are split 44 on clay. Djokovic is the only player other than Nadal who has defeated Federer in consecutive Grand Slam tournament matches. Federer ended Djokovic's 41-match winning start to the 2011 season at the 2011 French Open semi-finals. However, Federer would lose to Djokovic in the following year in straight sets. Djokovic played Federer in his first major final at the 2007 US Open and lost in 3 sets. Djokovic has more wins against Federer than any other player. The two had 3 encounters at the Australian Open, which Federer won in straight sets in 2007 and Djokovic won in straight sets in the other 2. The two have met 5 years in a row at the US Open with Federer triumphant in their first 3 encounters, while their last 2 meetings were 5-set matches in which Djokovic saved 2 match points before going on to win. In 2012, Djokovic lost to Federer in the Wimbledon semi-final. Djokovic won the 2012 ATP World Tour Finals by defeating Federer in straight sets in the final. The two met again during the finals of the 2014 Wimbledon Championships with Djokovic emerging victorious after a 5-set match and with the victory reclaiming the No. 1 ranking from Nadal. Federer withdrew from the 2014 ATP World Tour Final and Djokovic successfully defended his title, the first walkover in a final in the tournament's 45-year history. In the 2015 Wimbledon Championships, despite an extraordinary second-set tiebreaker in which Federer saved 7 set points to level the match, Djokovic went on to claim a 4-set victory and even the lifetime record between the two players. The two met again in another Grand Slam final in 2015, this time at the 2015 US Open, where Djokovic defeated Federer in 4 tight sets to claim his second US Open title and 10th Grand Slam this year. The two would also meet in the 2016 Australian Open semi-finals, where Djokovic played virtually flawless tennis in the first 2 sets to eventually claim a 4-set victory en route to capturing the record 6th Australian Open and his 11th Grand Slam title. At the 2019 Wimbledon Championships, Djokovic bested Federer in 5 sets in an almost 5-hour match. Djokovic and Andy Murray have met 36 times with Djokovic leading 2,511. Djokovic leads 51 on clay, 208 on hard courts, and Murray leads 20 on grass. The two are almost exactly the same age, with Murray being a week older than Djokovic. They went to training camp together, and Murray won the first match they ever played as teenagers. The pair have met 19 times in finals, and Djokovic leads 118. 10 of the finals were ATP Masters 1000 finals, and they are tied at 55. Their most notable match in this category was a 3-set thriller at the final of the 2012 Shanghai Masters, in which Murray held 5 championship point opportunities in the second set. However, Djokovic saved each of them, forcing a deciding set. He eventually prevailed to win his first Shanghai Masters title. ending Murray's 120-winning streak at the event. This, and the three-set match they played in Rome in 2011, were voted the ATP World Tour Match of the Year. For each respective season, they have also met in 7 Grand Slam tournament finals: the 2011 Australian Open, the 2012 US Open, the 2013 Australian Open, the 2013 Wimbledon Championships, the 2015 Australian Open, the 2016 Australian Open and most recently, the 2016 French Open. Djokovic has won in Australia 4 times and won at the French Open, while it was Murray who emerged the victor at the US Open and Wimbledon. Djokovic and Murray also played an almost 5-hour-long semi-final match in the 2012 Australian Open, which Djokovic won 75 in the 5th set after Murray led 2-1. Murray and Djokovic met again in 2012 at the London 2012 Olympic Games, with Murray winning in straight sets. The two met in the final of the 2013 Wimbledon Championships, where second seed Murray defeated Djokovic in straight sets. The first time since 2010 that Djokovic had failed to win a set in a Grand Slam match. In the final of the 2015 Paris Masters, Djokovic triumphed in 2 sets and became the first man to win 6 Masters tournaments in one season. At the 2016 Australian Open final, in a rematch of the previous final, Djokovic won in 3 sets and captured his 6th Australian Open title. In the 2016 clay court season, Djokovic and Murray met in the final of the 2016 Madrid Open, where Djokovic captured his record-breaking 29th Masters 1000 title in 3 sets. 1 week later, however, Murray comfortably beat Djokovic in straight sets in the 2016 Internazionale BNL d'Italia final, denying Djokovic his 30th Masters 1000 crown and interrupting his path to becoming the first player to break through the $100 million prize money mark. At the apex of the clay court season, the 2016 French Open, Djokovic and Murray met once again at the final. Despite losing the first set 36, Djokovic went on to win the next 3 sets 61, 62, 64 and claim his maiden French Open title. This win completed Djokovic's career Grand Slam and denied Murray his first French Open title. Djokovic and Stan Wawrinka have met 25 times, with Djokovic leading 196. However, the two have contested numerous close matches, including 4 5-setters at Grand Slam level. Wawrinka and Djokovic have played 3 consecutive Australian Open years, each match going to 5 sets, and a 5-setter in the US Open. In the 2013 Australian Open 4th round, which Djokovic won 12-10 in a 5th set. At the 2013 US Open semi-finals, which Djokovic won 64 in a 5th set. And at the 2014 Australian Open quarter-finals, which Wawrinka won 97 in a close 5th set. Wawrinka's win broke Djokovic's impressive run of 14 consecutive semi-finals in Grand Slam play, ended a 28-match winning streak, and prevented Djokovic from capturing a record 5th Australian Open crown. Djokovic got revenge in the 2015 Australian Open, winning 60 in the 5th set. But again it went the distance. At the 2015 French Open final, Wawrinka defeated Djokovic in 4 sets to claim in his second major title. In 2015, Djokovic defeated Wawrinka at the Paris Masters. At the 2016 US Open, Wawrinka beat Djokovic in a Grand Slam final for the second time, suffering from a foot injury for the latter stages of the match. Djokovic lost in 4 sets. He did not attribute his loss to the injury, but rather to Wawrinka's courageous play at decisive moments in the match. Contrary to most high-profile rivalries, they have played doubles together. Despite Djokovic's 196 overall record against Wawrinka, Wawrinka leads Djokovic 20 in Grand Slam finals and 32 in all ATP finals. During Djokovic's run of 8 appearances at Grand Slam finals from 2014 Wimbledon through their 2016 US Open, his only 2 losses came at the hands of Wawrinka, Moreover, in Djokovic's 21 Grand Slam championship matches, Wawrinka is the only opponent he has not defeated and the only opponent outside the Big Four who has defeated him this year. Djokovic and Jo-Wilfried Tsonga have met 24 times, with Djokovic leading 186. Their first meeting was in the final of the 2008 Australian Open. Djokovic and Tsonga had defeated the top two players, Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal, in their respective semi-finals in straight sets. Djokovic won this match in 4 sets to win his first Grand Slam singles title. Their next meeting at a Grand Slam event was again at the Australian Open, in the 2010 quarter-finals. Exactly 2 years to the day since Djokovic defeated Tsonga to win his first Grand Slam singles title. However, this time it was Tsonga who prevailed, winning in 5 sets after Djokovic fell ill during the match. It would be another year and a half until they met again, with the stakes even higher in the semi-finals at Wimbledon in 2011, with the winner advancing to his first Wimbledon final. It was their first meeting on grass, and Djokovic prevailed in 4 sets to advance to his first Wimbledon final, and in the process ending the 7.5-year reign of Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal at their top of the rankings. At the 2012 French Open, Djokovic and Tsonga met again in an important quarter-finals match, with Djokovic prevailing in 5 sets after more than 4 hours of play. They met again 2 months later at the Olympics, with Djokovic winning in straight sets in the quarter-finals. They met in the final of the 2012 China Open, with Djokovic once again victorious in straight sets. The pair were drawn in the same pool for the 2012 ATP World Tour Finals. Djokovic defeated Tsonga in his first of 3 round-robin matches. It was Djokovic's 5th win over Tsonga in 2012. Their most recent Grand Slam tournament meeting was in the second round of the 2019 Australian Open. Djokovic defeated Tsonga in straight sets. Djokovic and Juan Martín del Potro have met 20 times, with Djokovic leading 164. Djokovic won their first 4 meetings, before back-to-back victories for the Del Potro at the 2011 Davis Cup and their bronze medal match at the 2012 Summer Olympics in straight sets. However, in 2013, Djokovic got the upper hand on the rivalry again and won 2 of the most important matches between them to date. An epic 5-setter at the 2013 Wimbledon Championship semi-finals, which was the longest Wimbledon semi-final at the time, and a thrilling 3-setter at the 2013 Shanghai Masters final. In the same year, Del Potro defeated Djokovic en route to his second Masters 1000 final, at the 2013 Indian Wells Masters, where he lost to Nadal. Del Potro upset Djokovic in the first round at the 2016 Olympics in Rio en route to the final, where he lost to Murray. Djokovic defeated Del Potro in 3 close sets in the final of the 2018 US Open, which was the first Grand Slam final for Del Potro since his victory at the 2009 US Open. Place among the all-time greats. Djokovic is considered to be one of the greatest tennis players of all time. Following his tremendous success in the 2011 season, he began to feature on all-time greatest lists. In late 2011, Rod Laver listed Djokovic number 6 in his top 10 male players of the Open era. According to Tim Henman's June 2012 statement, Djokovic is probably a top 8 player in tennis history. Andre Agassi stated in September 2012 that Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic may very well be the greatest 3 players to ever play tennis. In March 2012, contemporary competitor Andy Murray described Djokovic as one of the greatest players ever. Following the 2013 US Open, in his September 2013 Men's Greatest Players of All Time list, International Business Times writer Jason Lemieux put the then 6-time Grand Slam winning Serb in 7th place, behind Federer, Nadal, Sampras, Laver, Borg, and Agassi. In January 2014, ESPN writer Howard Bryant called him, arguably the best pure tennis player in the world. In April 2015, Henman offered another comment on Djokovic's standing among the all-time greats, saying, "It's only a matter of time before he is considered alongside Federer and Nadal as one of the greatest players of all time," having proclaimed him one of the all-time greats in November 2014. John McEnroe put Djokovic in all-time top 5 following his 2015 Wimbledon win. Djokovic's 9th Grand Slam tournament title. "My top 4 are Lava, Sampras, Roger and Nadal, but Novak is at number 5 and rising." Andrew Castle stated in January 2016 that Djokovic is undoubtedly moving towards being considered the sport's all-time greatest player. In June 2016, a panel of more than 40 ESPN tennis analysts ranked Djokovic as number 8 on their top 20 all-time combined list of both male and female tennis players. He was number 5 among the males, behind Federer, Lava, Sampras, and Borg. Rod Laver said in 2016 that Djokovic was tied with Federer as the best player of all time. In February 2018, Djokovic got placed No. 5 by Tennis.com in their list of 50 greatest male players of the Open era, behind Federer, Lava, Nadal, and Sampras. In February 2019, WTA legends Chris Evert and Lindsay Davenport said Djokovic will break the record for most Grand Slam titles won in history. Some observers, tennis players and coaches described Djokovic as the greatest of all time because he won their trophies with victories against the top players and the biggest rivals in one of the strongest eras of tennis. Currently, Djokovic leads the head-to-head record against all members of the Big Four, and he has highest number of slams won, beating Big Four member en route. Furthermore, he won on average higher-ranked players on the way to the Grand Slam trophies than Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal. Pat Cash emphasized that Djokovic is one of 2 players who beat Rafael Nadal at the French Open, which he considers to be the biggest challenge in tennis. Richard Krajicek and the Raw Sports Opinion website pointed out that Djokovic should be considered for the greatest player of all time because he is the only one among his greatest rivals who won 4 Grand Slams in a row. Djokovic is widely considered to be one of the greatest returners in the history of the sport, an accolade given to him even by Andre Agassi, who was considered to be the best returner ever, though staying clear of best-ever conversations. Tennis coach Nick Bollettieri has continually been praising Djokovic as the most complete player ever, and the most perfect player of all time. When you look at match players in the history of tennis, I don't believe that anybody can equal everything on the court that Djokovic does. I don't think you can find a weakness in his game. His movement, personality, his return of serve, his serve, excellent touch, not hesitant in coming to the net, great serve. Overall, almost every player has a downfall. To me, he doesn't have one. He's perhaps the best put-together player that I've seen over 60 years. Tennis pundits have classified many of Djokovic's matches as some of the greatest contests ever, with the 2012 Australian Open final being considered one of the greatest matches ever seen. Some longtime analysts claim that the Djokovic-Nadal rivalry ranks as the best rivalry in tennis history, primarily because of the quality of matches they produce. Some journalists and tennis players consider that the achievements of Djokovic are not proportionally appreciated in the media and among tennis fans because of the prejudice against Eastern Europe, playing style and equipment. Djokovic is an aggressive baseline player. His ground strokes from both wings are consistent, deep, and penetrating. His backhand is widely regarded as one of the best in today's game, due to its effectiveness on both sides of the court. His best shot is his backhand down the line, with great pace and precision. He is also known as one of the greatest movers on the court with high agility, court coverage and defensive ability, which allows him to hit winners from seemingly defensive positions. After great technical difficulties during the 2009 season, coinciding with his switch to the head racket series, his serve is one of his major weapons again, winning him many free points. His first serve is typically hit flat, while he prefers to slice and kick his second serves wide. Djokovic's return of serve is a powerful weapon for him, with which he can be both offensive and defensive. Djokovic is rarely aced because of his flexibility, length and balance. Djokovic is highly efficient off both the forehand and backhand return, often getting the return in play deep with pace, neutralizing the advantage the server usually has in a point. John McEnroe considers Djokovic to be the greatest returner of serve in the history of the men game. Occasionally, Djokovic employs a well-disguised backhand underspin drop shot and sliced backhand. His smash is considered to be one of his biggest weaknesses, being prone to making mistakes on the shot in big moments such as the 2008 Olympics. Djokovic commented on the modern style of play, including his own, in an interview with Jim Courier after his semi-final win against Andy Murray in the 2012 Australian Open tournament. "I had a big privilege and honor to meet personally today Mr. Lava. And he is one of the biggest and greatest players ever to play the game. Thank you for staying this late, sir. Thank you. Even though it would actually be better if we played a couple times serve and volley. But we don't know to play. We are mostly around here. We are running, around the baseline." Entering the pro circuit, Djokovic used the head liquid metal Radical, but changed sponsors to Wilson in 2005. He couldn't find a Wilson racket he liked, so Wilson agreed to make him a custom racket to match his previous one with head. After the 2008 season, Djokovic resigned with head, and debuted a new paint job of the head UTEC Speed Pro at the 2009 Australian Open. He then switched to the head UTEC IG Speed 18x20 paint job in 2011, and in 2013, he again updated his paint job to the head Graphene Speed Pro, which included an extensive promotional campaign. Djokovic uses a hybrid of head natural gut, gauge 16, in the mains and Lucky Lawn Big Banger ALU Power Rough, gauge 16L, in the crosses. He also uses head synthetic leather grip as a replacement grip. In 2012, Djokovic appeared in a television commercial with Maria Sharapova promoting the use of head rackets for many techniques such as golf and 10-pin bowling. In assessing Djokovic's 2011 season, Jimmy Connors said that Djokovic gives his opponents problems by playing a little bit old school, taking the ball earlier, catching the ball on the rise, and driving the ball flat. Conjabars adds that a lot of the topspin that Djokovic's opponents drive at him comes right into his zone, thus his ability to turn defense into offense well. In the period 2004 and 2005, Djokovic was coached by Dejan Petrovic. From fall 2005 until June 2006, he was coached by Ricardo Piatti, who divided his time between the 18-year-old and Ivan Lubin. Player and coach reportedly parted ways over the latter's refusal to work full-time with Djokovic. From June 2006 until May 2017, Djokovic was coached by Slovakian former professional tennis player Marin Vida. They met for the first time during that year's French Open, after which Vida was hired to be the 19-year-old's coach. On occasion Djokovic employed additional coaches on part-time basis. In 2007, during the spring hardcourt season, he worked with Australian doubles ace Mark Woodford with specific emphasis on volleys and net play. While from August 2009 until April 2010 American Todd Martin joined the coaching team, a period marked by his ill-fated attempt to change Djokovic's serve motion. From early 2007 until 2017, Djokovic worked with physiotherapist Miljan Amanovi, who was previously employed by Red Star Belgrade, and NBA player Vladimir Radmanovi. From the fall 2006, Djokovic had an Israeli fitness coach, Ronan Biga, but the two parted ways during spring 2009. Djokovic decided to make a change after identifying his conditioning as a weakness in his game, following continual losses to Nadal. In April 2009, ahead of the Rome Masters, Djokovic hired Austrian Gebhard Ilgrich formerly worked with Thomas Muster to join the team in fitness coach capacity. In July 2010, before the Davis Cup clash away at Croatia, Djokovic made another addition to his team, nutritionist Igor Etoljev, who additionally focuses on Chinese medicine and does acupuncture. He allegedly discovered that the tennis player suffers from gluten intolerance using applied kinesiology, and that he cannot eat gluten, purging it from his diet. It appeared to have worked as Djokovic began feeling stronger, quicker, and much more fit. He eventually settled on a vegan diet. He later added the occasional consumption of fish to his dietary regimen. After Djokovic's Wimbledon win in July 2011, Etoljev left the team this year, a Wall Street Journal article noted. He had another worldly season in 2011 and has been the world's most consistent player since. His devotion to his diet has only gotten stronger. In 2016, he opened a vegan restaurant in Monte Carlo, where he lives. After retiring from professional tennis in August 2011, Serbian player Dejan Bemi joined Djokovic's team as assistant coach and hitting partner for Novak. The collaboration ended before the 2013 US Open. Six-time major champion and former world No. 1 Boris Becker, who had mostly worked as television pundit for BBC Sport and Sky Sports since retiring from playing in 1999, was announced as Djokovic's new head coach in December 2013. According to Djokovic, the Becker appointment was done with input from the player's existing head coach Marin Vida, who reportedly wanted to spend more time with his family and was looking to have his coaching workload somewhat reduced. For Becker, in addition to working alongside Vida, the job entailed special emphasis on Grand Slam tournaments, as Djokovic felt he missed out on winning a couple of majors over the previous two seasons due to a lack of mental edge in the final stages of those tournaments. Becker's first tournament coaching Djokovic was the 2014 Australian Open. On 5 May 2017, Djokovic confirmed that he had come to a mutual agreement to terminate his coaching relationship with Vida, as well as Phil Grich and Ivanovic. In a statement on his website, Djokovic cited the reasons for the personnel shake-up. Novak and the team members decided to part ways after a detailed analysis of the game, achieved results in the previous period, and also after discussing private plans of each team member. Despite the fantastic cooperation so far, Djokovic felt he needed to make a change, and to introduce new energy in order to raise his level of play. On 30 June 2019, Djokovic confirmed that he added former world No. 2 and Wimbledon champion Goran Ivanovic to his coaching team this year. Off the court. In 2007, Djokovic founded the Novak Djokovic Foundation. The organization's mission is to help children from disadvantaged communities to grow up and develop in stimulating and safe environments. The foundation partnered with the World Bank in August 2015 to promote early childhood education in Serbia. His foundation has built 43 schools and supported almost 20,800 children and 1,000 families. He participated in charity matches with the aim of raising funds for the reconstruction of the Avala Tower, as well as to aid victims of the 2010 Haiti earthquake and 2011 Queensland floods. Djokovic was selected as the 2012 Arthur Ashe Humanitarian of the Year for his contributions through the foundation, his role as a UNICEF National Ambassador and other charitable projects. In August 2015, he was appointed a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador. During the 2014 Balkans floods, he sparked worldwide financial and media support for victims in Bosnia and Herzegovina, Croatia and Serbia. After winning the 2014 Rome Masters, Djokovic donated his prize money to the flood victims in Serbia, while his foundation collected another $600,000. Following his 2016 Australian Open victory, Djokovic donated $20,000 to Melbourne City Mission's early childhood education program to help disadvantaged children. After the COVID-19 pandemic spread to Serbia in March 2020, He and his wife announced that they will donate $1 million for the purchase of ventilators and medical equipment to support hospitals and other medical institutions. He also made a donation to Bergamo, one of the worst affected provinces. Djokovic endorses Serbian telecommunications company Telekom Serbia and German nutritional supplement brand Fitline. Since turning professional in 2003, Djokovic has been wearing Adidas clothing. At the end of 2009, Djokovic signed a 10-year deal with the Italian clothing company Sergio Tacchini after Adidas refused to extend his clothing contract, choosing instead to sign Andy Murray. Tacchini doesn't make shoes, so Djokovic continued with Adidas as his choice of footwear. His sponsorship contract with Tacchini was incentive-heavy, and due to Djokovic's disproportionate success and dominance in 2011, the company fell behind on bonus payments, leading to the termination of the sponsorship contract. From 2011, Djokovic began to wear custom red and blue Adidas Barricade 6.0 shoes, referring to the colors of the Serbian national flag. By April 2012, the Tacchini deal had fallen first short and then apart. At that point, he was set to join forces with Nike, Inc., but instead, on the 23rd of May 2012, Uniqlo appointed Djokovic as its global brand ambassador. The 5-year sponsorship, reportedly worth $8 million per year, began on the 27th of May 2012 in Paris Roland Garros French Open tennis tournament. A year later, Djokovic's long-term footwear deal with Adidas was announced ahead of 2013 French Open. In August 2011, Djokovic became the brand ambassador of Swiss watch manufacturer Audemars Piguet. Less than a month later, Djokovic signed a sponsorship deal with German car company Mercedes-Benz. In March 2012, Djokovic was announced by Bombardier Aerospace as its latest Learjet brand ambassador, thus joining the likes of actor and pilot John Travolta, architect Frank Gehry, maestro Valery Gergiev, and classical pianist Lang Lang. From January 2014, Djokovic has been endorsing French car manufacturer Peugeot. At the same time, he entered into an endorsement deal with Japanese watch manufacturer Seiko, having just ended his affiliation with their rivals Audemars Piguet. In early 2015, ahead of the Australian Open, Djokovic teamed up with Australian banking corporation ANZ for a social media campaign to raise money for local communities across the Asia-Pacific region. At the same time, his partnership with Jacobs Creek, an Australian wine brand owned by Orlando Wines, was announced in regards to the production and distribution of the Made by film series. A documentary-style content meant to show a side of Novak not seen before as he recounts never-before-told life stories from Belgrade, Serbia, celebrating what has made him the champion he is today. Since 2004, the business end of Djokovic's career has been handled by Israeli manager Zamet Naya, former pro tennis player turned sports agent, and Alan Kakshuri, the duo that also had Marat Safin and Dinara Safina as their clients. In June 2008, after the duo entered into partnership with CAA Sports, the sports division of Hollywood talent firm Creative Artists Agency, meaning that the famous company started representing tennis players for the first time. Djokovic formally signed with CAA Sports. After Djokovic's contract with CAA Sports expired during summer 2012, he decided to switch representation, announcing IMG Worldwide as his new representatives in December 2012. On the 22nd of May 2017, Djokovic was unveiled as a brand ambassador of Lacoste after a 5-year partnership with Uniqlo. In 2005, as Djokovic moved up to the tennis rankings, he began venturing into the business world. Most of his activities in the business arena have been channeled through Family Sport, a legal entity in Serbia established and run by members of his immediate family. Registered as a limited liability company, Family Sport initially focused on hospitality, specifically the restaurant business, by launching Novak Cafe and Restaurant, a franchise themed around Djokovic's tennis success. Over time, The company, whose day-to-day operations are mostly handled by Novak's father Sergen and uncle Goran, expanded its activities into real estate, sports, entertainment event organization, and sports apparel distribution. The company launched Novak Cafe restaurant in 2008 in the Belgrade municipality of Novi Beograd, the flagship location in a franchise chain of theme cafe restaurants. During 2009, 2 more locations were added, one in Kragujevac and the other in Belgrade, the city's second. In September, at the neighborhood of Doral overlooking the playing courts of Serbia Open, whose inaugural edition took place several months earlier. On the 16th of December 2011, a location in Novi Sad was opened. However, it operated just over 3 years before closing in late March 2015. Banja Luka in neighboring Republika Srpska got its Novak Cafe restaurant location on the 16th of October 2015 within Hotel Trenja on Banj Hill. In 2009, the company bought a 250 Series ATP tournament known as the Dutch Open and moved it to Serbia, where it was renamed the Serbia Open. With the help of Belgrade city authorities, the tournament's inaugural edition was held during May 2009 at the city-owned Milan Gale Mukatirovi courts, located in an attractive spot in Doral neighborhood. The tournament folded in 2012 after 4 editions, and its place in the ATP calendar got taken over by the DS Düsseldorf Open. In May 2015, right after winning his 4th Rome Masters title, Djokovic launched a line of nutritional food products called Jokolife. On the 10th of April 2016, while in town for the Monte Carlo Masters, Djokovic opened a vegan restaurant called Eat Vita in Monte Carlo. The restaurant reportedly closed in March 2019. Throughout the latter part of the 2007 season, most notably before Wimbledon and during US Open, his comedic impressions of fellow contemporary tennis players got a lot of media play. It began when a BBC camera crew recorded some footage of the 20-year-old impersonating Maria Sharapova, Rafael Nadal, Goran Ivanisevic, and Leighton Hewitt on a practice court at London's Queen's Club Championships just before Wimbledon. The material consisting of Djokovic imitating the said players by exaggerating their trademark physical gestures or nervous tics for the entertainment of his coaching team Marin Vida and Mark Woodford aired during BBC's coverage of the tournament and subsequently became popular online. 2 months later at the US Open, a phone video shot by Argentine players of Djokovic doing locker room impressions of Andy Roddick, Roger Federer, Filippo Volandri, Nadal, etc., made its way online, becoming viral. A few days later, after beating Carlos Moy in the quarterfinals, USA Network's on-court interviewer Michael Barkan asked Djokovic to perform some impressions, and the player obliged by doing Sharapova and Nadal to the delight of the crowd. In addition to Novak, the surge of popularity for tennis in the country also centered around 3 more up-and-coming young players: 20-year-old Ana Ivanovic, 22-year-old Jelena Jankovic, and 23-year-old Janko Tipsarevic, as evidenced in early December 2007 when a sports entertainment show named Najde Srbije, the Best of Serbia, put together in honor of the 4 players' respective successes in the 2007 season, drew a capacity crowd to Belgrade's Combank Arena. In May 2008, he was a special guest during the first semi-final of the Eurovision Song Contest, held in Belgrade that year. He threw a big tennis ball into the crowd, announcing the start of the voting, and together with one of the show's co-presenters, Elko Jokšmović, Djokovic sang Marjanović's song, Beograd, throughout late April and early May 2009, during ATP Master Series tournaments in Rome and Madrid, respectively. The Serb was a guest on the Fiorello show on Sky Uno hosted by Italian comedian Rosario Fiorello, followed by an appearance on Pablo Moto's show El Hormiguero. In 2009 and 2010, Djokovic won an Oscar of popularity for the most popular male athlete in Serbia. Djokovic is also featured in the music video for the song Hello by Martin Solveig and Dragonette. The video, filmed at Stade Roland Garros, shows Solveig facing off against Bob Sinclair, another DJ, in a tennis match. When the referee calls a crucial ball out, Djokovic enters the arena and convinces the referee otherwise. In 2010, the Serbian blues rock band Zona B recorded the song The Joker, dedicating it to Djokovic. On the 25th of June 2011, at the Serbian National Defense Council's 70th Congress in Chicago, Djokovic was unanimously awarded the Order of Serbian National Defense in America I-Class, the highest decoration of the SND. The order was given to the 24-year-old for his merits on the international sports scene and his contributions to the reputation of Serbs and Serbia around the world. The day after winning his first Wimbledon title and reaching the No. 1 ranking for the first time in his career, Djokovic went home to Belgrade for a homecoming celebration in front of the Serbian National Assembly, an event attended by close to 100,000 people. On the 28th of November 2011, after returning from London where he finished early due to failing to progress out of his round-robin group, Djokovic visited his childhood tennis coach Jelena Geni at her Belgrade home, bringing the Wimbledon trophy along. The meeting, reportedly their first in more than 4 years, was recorded by 2 television crews, a Serbian one shooting for Alexander Gajek's show Agape on Studio B television and an American one from CBS television network filming material for Djokovic's upcoming piece on 60 Minutes. The next day, the 29th of November 2011, on invitation from film producer Avi Lerner, Djokovic was part of the high-budget Hollywood movie production The Expendables 2 in a cameo, playing himself that was shot in a warehouse in the Bulgarian capital of Sofia. However, his bit part was later cut out of the final version of the movie. He appeared on the cover of Italian GQ's March 2012 issue. Also, in March he was profiled on the CBS show 60 Minutes by their correspondent Bob Simon. He was named amongst the 100 most influential people of 2012 by Time magazine. Djokovic has been a guest on the well-known late-night talk shows, such as The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, VSA Ivanom Ivanovium, Conan, Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, Late Show with David Letterman, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, as well as The Ellen DeGeneres Show. Career statistics. Current through the 2020 Dubai Tennis Championships. Note: Djokovic's quarter-final match at the 2011 French Open and his second-round match at the 2016 US Open were walkovers.